the early stages of his career, Batley Bulldogs. Archie Bruce died in France recently, where he'd made his debut for the Bulldogs against Toulouse. Applause in memory of young Archie Bruce. Well, they might be a bit gloomy, the Saints supporters, but here's a stat to cheer them. The beaten team at Wembley has gone on to win their subsequent Super League game in each of the past 10 years. Warrington lost at Wembley last season and bounced back to slaughter Hull, 80 points to 10 the following week. Will the Castleford Tigers suffer the same fate at the hands of the sore St Helens side? James Child is the referee here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. A brief burst of rain has passed over the ground, seems to have cleared. We're ready to get underway, just waiting for the flag bearers to clear the pitch. That's done, off we go. Saints receive the ball from the kickoff. And here's Kyle Amor. It's going to be fascinating to see how this game pans out early on.
And how they can handle the opening 20 minutes. I do believe that Saints are going to throw absolutely everything at Castleford. Everyone's expecting a reaction. Darryl Powell, who's played in Challenge Cup finals, would know all about what to cope with in that following fixture. But this is going to be a game that Saints, I think, are going out there to send the right message out that, look, we've got our eye on getting to Old Trafford and lifting that trophy. There's an error though here. Kyle Amor.
Second carry of that first set of 6 for Kyle Amor. You could see what they wanted to do. And you mentioned that downpour of rain, Bill. That will make the ball slippery, the surface slippy. Will it change the approach of both of these two teams? Well, we'll wait and see what happens in the opening quarter. But certainly, on that evidence, any slight pressure on the ball, unless you've got a good grip or grasp on it, it could quite come out.
Grant Millington all over Kyle Amor there, forcing the error. And Castleford Tigers head and feed at the scrum. So good opportunity for them early on in this game. Just over a minute gone. First error made by the Saints. And here's Nathan Massey. Mr. Dependable, missed only 4 games this season. In fact, Castleford Tigers lost all 4 of those. I bet he's not slow to point that out to his teammates. Here's Ollie Holmes. About 15 metres out, just to the left of the post as Castleford attack. And here is Liam Watts. A real threat, but Saints no doubt sure of that. And ensuring they don't allow Watts to offload, which he likes to do. Quick hands find Greg Minikin, and Minikin skips past the first challenge. Saints allowing him to slip past him there. That's the 5th tackle, and they're that close to the Saints line. And player injured as Chase Blair tries to use his strength to power his way over.
Well, Chase Blair looks to crash over the line, but it was his nice soft hands that nearly sent Greg Minikin over on the left-hand side. Darryl Powell knows that this is where they want to be now. See Liam Watts flying up the line and looking to bend one of the Saints players in 2.
Jack Wellesby, who felt that pressure, and it's Tommy Makinson under pressure now.
This is where you want your opponents to be, bringing the ball away, trapped in the corner on their own line, dominant in defence. Some dual hits going on from Cass here.
But on the flip side of that, Lomax Richardson must be thinking about a deep kick, must be thinking about territory. We've seen when Saints were coming away with the ball, you can force an error in wet weather.
Swinging arm from Liam Watts there, and Kyle Amor was just pointing that out to the referee. Well, I think he was just trying to get a hold of him.
That's a good kick.
Comes in from Saints, and it's retrieved by Greg Minikin.
Good kick, good distance, and a bouncing ball, and you can see the contact is good, control is good from Saints.
Here's James Clare, Tigers' top try scorer, and there's a hand in there from Saints, and the penalty's conceded.
Well, just trying to slow the ruck down then. James Roby, the most experienced player in the camp, you can just see, got hold of the ball, let him play the ball quickly.
So an error from Saints and a penalty conceded by Saints.
You'd imagine that this Castleford side are going to send an awful lot over against Saints' right hand side in Costello, Danny Richardson. Test them out early in the game.
Millington plays the ball. Here goes Watts, building up a head of steam. Morgan Knowles.
It's so difficult to handle. He doesn't get dominated. There are 3 players around the play of the ball, which means there's a space in the line somewhere.
Jake Truman trying to wrong foot the Saints defenders, but Danny Richardson down low among the tacklers. Roby, as per usual, in there. But they're that close again as Massey drives it in. Closer still, McShane, that's the 5th tackle. McShane directing operations. The kick cross field from Jamie Ellis, hanging and claimed by Regan Grace. Did well there.
There's a penalty there, Matt Percival. Escorted one of the Castleford players. He just cut straight across him as he's going to get the ball. Look at this, he goes up, you can see him. He checks out where Clare is, goes straight into him illegally.
A few weeks ago, Wakefield Trinity came here. They started the game strongly. They had great chances close to St Helens line, but they couldn't get over and post the points. By the end of the game, the Saints' dominance and class put them ahead. Convincing win. This is Castleford's chance. Strong goods first 5 minutes. They need some points.
Well, they've conceded 2 penalties early on, have the Saints. Is it going to tell on them? The ball is batted on by Minikin. It didn't go forward despite the objections of the Saints supporters, but the Saints defenders keep Minikin just at bay. Under pressure here early on. Here is Jordan Rankin now from full-back. The Saints fans at that end of the ground trying to lift their side early on in this contest. Ellis is under pressure. That's good defence.
There's good line speed, isn't it, from Johnny Lomax? He gets right in the eye line of Jamie Ellis. And as soon as he spots him, he doesn't concentrate on catching the ball. He's already trying to play the player over onto the right-hand side and push the ball out. But great defence from that man.
Well, there's a good end to it from Saints, but I really like the focus from St Helens. Up quick, nominating who they've got. There's the mistake at the end, but right from the dropout, you could see the focus, you could see the communication in the ranks of the St Helens side. And when they come to shift and it looked like the line was broken with Greg Minikin, there were enough numbers that just ushered over there and dealt with the threat.
So Saints relieve the pressure and bring the ball away. It's Costello playing it. Here's Amor on to Thompson. One of the Saints' better performers at Wembley, probably their best performer. Knowles now making his 100th Super League appearance. Morgan Knowles. Lomax. Tautier appealing for something there. And Roby. Richardson with the kick on the halfway line, hoists that one. Jordan Rankin is underneath that and gets it at the second attempt.
Well, safe but effective from the Saints, just marching cast back towards their own try line, then finishing off with a kick. Now trying to force an error up the right end of the field for them.
Work back and hold.
See Jordan Rankin, well, he catches it. Bit of a wobble, but he keeps hold of it.
Holmes now. And now Grant Millington. Castleford Tigers missing some big performers, Junior Moores notably, so the likes of Millington having to up their contribution, if that's possible.
but they are struggling to put the likes of Millington and Liam Watts down. Every time they get the ball, they're attracting 3 and 4 defenders. Just like Barry says, means there's some space now. One-on-one.
Stolen by Truman on Grace.
Oh, big effort from him.
And Castleford could capitalise here. The ball comes out wide again to Minikin. Minikin again cuts in field. Once more looking for the gap. This time he might have found it. Not quite. Saints shut the door on him. But it was Truman's quick thinking that has helped Castleford get to this position. He was held, says the referee. Roby protesting.
It does feel to me when they shift the ball over to the left.
Roby protesting too much.
And release, and you don't release. It's quite simple.
I'll finish my point off there. When Greg Minikin looks like he's got a look at the line, he's cutting back inside.
So the penalty goes in favour of the Castleford Tigers. Not releasing Minikin at the tackle, and it's more possession. Another opportunity, more pressure. Lomax with another good tackle. Here's Massey now. Luke Thompson with the tackle down low, coming towards the 10-minute mark, looking for the first points of the game, and Liam Watts is going hunting for them. He is held just short. Good defence once more. McShane puts a little grubber kick in, and once again the Saints sweep up well and survive well.
Well, he tries everything, Jack Welsby, to get back in the field of play, the youngster. He just couldn't do that. They're hitting that front door ball, the likes of Liam Watts going at the line. Everyone's expecting the ball to go out the back. And in a nice little clever play, from behind, Liam Watts is playing the ball. From Paul McShane, just puts pressure on Saints. And they look like they've turned up here. With the game face on, Paul McShane pulling the strings along with Jake Truman, who stole that ball from Regan Grace to get him into this field position.
Okay, let's go, Danny.
So goal line dropout. Jack Welsby in the side tonight. Lachlan Coots, one of the players missing from the Saints lineup. Dom Peyrou also absent. Here is Millington, so pressure early on the Saints defence. They've withstood it so far. Millington's looking sore after that latest tackle. Got to his feet very groggily. Truman, Rankin.
Needs a bit more depth there, Bill, Rankin.
Costello quickly up on him. Watts once again. Roby and Amor doing the tackling. McShane pointing one way, Truman the other. McShane goes to the right. Rankin's quick hands. Now it's James Clare. Clare cutting in field. Lomax, little ankle tap. Matautia appeals for that. Ellis with a little grubber kick. And McMeekin was chasing it, but too strong, and Darryl Powell shake it ahead. They're having plenty of pressure. Not the final shout, maybe.
Just look at the bodies. The Castleford Tigers shirts on the left-hand side of Jamie Ellis. He chooses to go back. I think there were 2 players on the short side. The rest of the team expecting the kick, trying to stay onside and ready to pounce.
Holmes with the tackle on Makinson, the crowd didn't like. And now it's Saints' turn to throw the kitchen sink at the Castleford Tigers defence. The kitchen sink in the shape of Luke Thompson first of all, and then Kyle Amor. Lomax, here's Zeb Tyre. They've weathered an early storm, have the Saints. Are they going to hit back? Here's Kyle Amor. One-handed offload, finds Lomax. Lomax finds Percival. Percival trying to get the better of Matautia, but Matautia makes the tackle. Richardson then with the kick into the corner, and too strong.
They get to the end of the set, and Danny Richardson normally very good when he kicks the ball, but maybe it was the inside pressure from Peter Matautia that just unsettled him a bit and kicks the ball out on the full. So it's easy meters now here now that they've gained. There was a shot at Saints in the previous set where they looked out. They've been under some pressure from Cass, and Cass just need to try and keep playing this game as quick as they can.
Hold.
So here's Peter Matautia. No Greg Eden in this Castleford side as well, so that reduces their finishing power. Took a finishing power. Hull FC have gone ahead early on against the Huddersfield Giants. Big game for the Giants, of course, down at the foot of the table. Hull FC, one of the sides contesting with the Castleford Tigers for the top 5, or the top 3, as Ellis hikes that ball up high and Regan Grace underneath it. Grace is Percival.
Well, after Percival comes Mackinson. You know that those two charges, if you kick to Regan Grace, you've got to deal with him and then offload. The speed with which that injects at that set now. Robin rolls forward.
Watts with the tackle. The crowd getting impatient. Mackinson still inside their own half. 4 tackles gone. Roby, so he kicks, and that's going to be too strong. Rankin watches that one bobble over the dead ball line.
When you get the team sheet of Saints and you're looking and coaches talk about, we must stop the first 3 players. Any team that you play against, don't let them get that roll on so the forwards have it easy, have it their own way. But with this Saints side, the back 3 are that good with the footwork. The forwards are good and strong when they're carrying the ball. So you've got to make sure, if you're a cast player, you're focused on every play in the set of 6.
James Clare plays the ball. Here is Millington now, but Millington's quickly closed down by Mark Percival, among others. Not a happy hunting ground, this venue for the Castleford Tigers, as Minikin slips. That they've lost on each of their last 24 visits, and they've lost on all 10 visits here to the totally wicked stadium, so that doesn't bode well.
Does that mean they're nearer a win though, Bill?
0-0 coming up to the 15-minute mark. Well, you reckon so. You've nailed your colours to the mast. Rankin on to Ellis. Ellis under pressure, gets the kick away straight into the arms of Regan Grace.
And you can see, we heard, hopefully on the mics at pitch side, Alex Walmsley's warming up the crowd, starting to get excited. We've almost got 15 minutes here. As you've said, Bill, a lot of defensive work done by St Helens, looking to then turn the tide and get some ball in hand, get some territory, and Big Al is prowling that sideline.
Here's Mackinson. There was a suggestion that it might be a few more players rested for Saints, because of course the league leaders' shield is theirs already. They're top of the table, can't be caught. They could keep their powder dry until the playoffs, but just Coote and Peyru missing tonight. Richardson gets the kick away. Rankin. Good chase from Percival.
He was on his own though, wasn't he? It was high and hanging, but I don't think it gave enough time to the chase team, or they didn't make and put enough intensity into that chase, apart from Percival.
So it's very much a nip and tuck start to this contest. Clare's got a bang on the nose. Watts on to Millington. Millington offloads to Chase Blair. Blair going backwards. The former Melbourne Storm player. Now here's Jordan Rankin on a loan deal for the remainder of this season from Huddersfield. And the kick away by Ellis. That was good defensive set from Saints, forcing Ellis to kick from well within his own half.
That was a really good defensive set from Saints, but that was a good kick as well from Ellis. Again, it's just trying now to contain these meters, the likes of Tommy Mackinson, Mark Percival, who really do wind up for big carries. Not the biggest, but really good foot speed.
Here's Matty Costello. No Kevin Nagama in this Saints side either. Bringing his footwork and firepower to the side. He's also on the sidelines. Kyle Amor over the halfway line come the Saints. Oh, Lomax did well to get that ball dipping in front of him as Meakin was arriving. That's the 5th tackle. Richardson finds a bit of space to put the kick in. It's not a bad one. Thompson is chasing it. And he closes down Clare quickly and forces the error.
Brilliant work. Brilliant work from Ashworth.
Jack Ashworth it was, I beg his pardon.
As soon as that high kick goes up, we talked on the previous kick, Percival being on his own. Look at the intensity in that run. He's watching that ball all the way. The second the ball is caught and the feet are on the ground, he hits, and closely followed up by Costello.
This is interesting here. This is the first time we've almost played 18 minutes that St Helens are going to have the ball, play the ball even inside their opponent's 20-metre zone. In that time, the Tigers have had 17 times they've played the ball close to St Helens' try line. There is a difference in class here and an ability to attack and break down their opponents. We'll see with the first set the Saints have got.
Big opportunity here then for St Helens to put the Castleford Tigers defence under pressure. Here's Jack Ashworth now, the Wembley sub, starting tonight. Lomax, Zebtea cutting back in field where he's tackled by Grant Millington and Nathan Massey. Roby decides to take it on himself. Zebtea, nowhere for him to go. McMeekin gets a hold of him. Roby's pass. Kyle Amor has to retreat to get it. That winds up, gets the pass away. Somehow it's Richardson now. Richardson for Luke Thompson, and he's battling his way through. He's over the line. He's held up.
Good defence under the sticks from this Castleford side. They can't be passive near the line. See that he gets rid of a couple of players. Paul McShane is the man who saves the day. Does a decent job to get under the rampaging Luke Thompson. See a problem here with Massey.
Massey is back on his feet. And Saints will play the ball after Luke Thompson was denied there. But they almost managed to make the most of that possession. Richardson shapes to kick. Instead, they come wide. And it's Welsby, and Welsby just managing to stay in the field of play. Here's Richardson again. Richardson gets the pass away to Ashworth. Ashworth onto Lomax. Lomax kicks across field, looking for Regan Grace. Grace bats it down. Percival kicks it ahead. And who did that come off? It came off a Saints player. Referee says that's a turnover.
Yeah, accidental offside. I think it was Regan Grace. Mark Percival kicks the ball into him. And the referee saying he was stood. And it hit him, but it was accidentally offside.
So neither side have come up with the killer final play. They've been in good positions.
Well, they're still feeling each other out, aren't they? And you look at Saints, you're expecting them to...
Nearly a quarter of the game gone.
Yeah, well, this Cast side knew that they're going to be up against the determined Saints side, and likewise Saints knew that they were going to be up against the determined Cast side. Remember, last night, was it 2-0 at half-time?
It was, yeah. That was pretty dour. This is... Go on, Phil.
You can't win the man of the match in the first 20 minutes, but Grant Millington, who just leaves the field at the 20-minute mark, has been impressive. And so's this guy, Oliver Holmes.
Holmes with a good run from inside his own half and taking Castleford deep into Saints territory. Now then, can they do something with this? Ellis with the ambitious kick ahead.
Yeah, ambitious there. On the fourth play.
Do you know, you talked before about Nathan Massey and his input, his involvement, his influence on this Castleford side. Well, I'd say his second-row teammate, Oliver Holmes, is just as important. Does a lot of the tidying up work defensively. Turns up, runs those hard lines in attack. And as you see there, he's no slouch either. He's gained 50 metres for his side.
And he's in doing the tackling there as Percival, a long striding run. Takes him up towards the 40-metre line, but that's the 5th tackle. Lomax just steps over the line to put that kick in. Rankin fields it.
And the mountain is on now for St Helens. Big Al, there's his first involvement. He'll try and lend all his weight and try and change that momentum. But a shift in defensively, watch out for his first carry.
First Super League game for a while for Alex Walmsley. He'd missed 3. But came back into the side for Wembley.
Well, Daniel Smith's on the field as well now for Castleford. Liam Watts has left the field. Has been a quick encounter, hasn't it, this game? Here he is, Smith.
Daniel Smith came to the Castleford Tigers from Huddersfield mid-season as Ellis hoists another kick. Clare is underneath it, but Percival very quickly up on him, and again you get to the last tackle and it's not quite right.
No, and I think the weather is playing a part. You can just about see on your TV screens the rain has started again, so that ball will be slippery, surface will be slippery, and teams and players will just try and hold it back in a little bit.
But Bill, if you are getting to the kick, you are not making mistakes, are you? You turn the ball over on your terms. Maybe you're not getting the best kick away, but you're still not making mistakes. Don't let this man run.
Well, they've let him run, and now here's Matty Costello. And Costello, you can see how slithery the pitch is. It's digging up as well. Makinson's cornering there, just churning up one or two divots. Roby digs that ball out from under his toes, and the ball back on the inside. Now here's Walmsley again on the last, looking for something. Percival, little kick ahead, but it's well claimed by James Clare.
Alex Walmsley is many things to this side, but an option on the last tackle he doesn't want to be. Flings the pass out to the centre, and Percival hopefully just chips it and tries to chip it over the head of Clare. And another frantic end. I think that's the best word to describe the end of sets for St Helens. Frantic.
You'd be very happy if you were Castleford here now. They've played them twice this season. At this point in both of those matches, Saints had a significant lead. They've managed to keep them, hold them start in that opening quarter here now, and it's about the concentration and patience here now to continue to do what they've done in the opening 20.
Fifth tackle, just inside their own half for the Castleford Tigers. Truman gets the kick away. Good one.
That's the right tactic in wet weather as well. Make your opponents come away from their line, hit hard and try and force a mistake. Low hard kicks to the corners.
Castleford looking to get back into the top five. So too are the Catalan Dragons in 7th place in the table at the moment. They host Hull Kingston Rovers, a game you can see tomorrow at 4:55 on Sky Sports Arena. The Robins, of course, looking to get away from the bottom of the table. London won in Catalan. Can the Hull Kingston Rovers side repeat that? Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook on and playing the ball. Walmsley. Saints getting on a bit of a roll here. Huddersfield have gone ahead against Hull FC. That's an important game, of course, as well, with the Giants under pressure. The kick claimed by Minikin. Bumps away from Richardson.
Well, this game is end-to-end, isn't it? Some face hits, there's some good running as well. Chase Blurt, he's looked strong, hasn't he? Not only carrying the ball, but he's come up with some nice touches to set his winger away. Greg Minikin. You see plays been lined up, but Castleford certainly looking to offload the ball every time they go into contact. If their arm's free, they're looking to force it.
There's Chase Blair again, via Daniel Smith. The ball batted on quickly to James Clare, and Clare will kick ahead for Rankin to chase. It's Rankin versus Walmsley, and it's Walmsley who gets there first.
He's got the biggest sweeper in the world of rugby league, Alex Walmsley.
The old-fashioned Bobby. It was Bobbying.
There's been a bit of a problem here with Paul McShane. He's been down 2 or 3 times. The physio's been onto him, checking him. Again, he's come off saying, yeah, he's okay to continue. Be interesting to see if he can get through the game, though. He's involved in that tackle there, the number 9.
Alex Walmsley did have a bit of a head start on Jordan Rankin, to be fair to the Castleford.
Good positioning, I'd say, Bill.
Come on.
Here's Johnny Lomax. Oh, Lomax, the ball slithering from his grasp.
They are off here, Saints, and I am questioning Danny Richardson's kick options. He's high constantly. They can get away with that St Helens a little bit. Offside is the call that's given.
Yeah, Jamie Ellis was called offside.
Ironic cheers from the Saints supporters, because that's their first penalty. McShane gets another visit from Matt Crowther, the physio.
Johnny Lomax hasn't had the time and space that he normally gets. Whether that's because the platform isn't being set, he's just not quite there at the minute. Got a long way to go in this game. But Richardson's kicks I'm not sure how much pressure they're putting on their opponents. If you contrast that with Castleford, low, hard, purposeful, that might be the goal forward.
There's a few problems for St Helens. The accuracy of the passing and kicking has not been at the standard they've set for 2019. There's another example from James Roby, perhaps because of the rain.
Well, they're not a bad wet weather side, the Saints, normally. Here's Richardson. Little dummy, open up some space. Massey trying to get in the way there.
He's lost the ball. He's lost the ball, Danny Richardson.
Ooh, that was cunning.
In his haste to get up and play it, he loses it.
Shot clock on.
I think you hear people say that you want to see Danny Richardson take the line on. He takes the line on. He doesn't get up to his feet and play the ball correctly anyway.
Well, as James Shaw said to him, there's no balance and no control in that play of the ball. And I think you can see there he's quite right.
Frustrating for the Saints coach, Justin Holbrook.
Okay, ready.
27 minutes gone, and it's St Helens 0, the Castleford Tigers 0.
Wait. Shot clock off now.
We're right, it was 2-0 last night, the first half at Salford.
It's got a bit to it, though, this game, that a couple of breaks from either side, playing in the right area of the field. Problem here now with James Clerk. Yeah, picking up some knocks. Paul McShane, the man who's seen it, is okay himself.
He got a bang earlier on, did
Isn't
James
well,
Clerk?
yeah. You like the intent from both of these sides. Whether it be your outside backs who are trying to return the ball in yardage, they're running really hard, like James Clerk. He's running into the thick of the action as well, picking out big Jack Ashworth, the aggressive youngster who started over on the right-hand side in the back row. He gets involved in that tackle, knocks him backwards.
I don't think there's any foul play in there. You can just see he gets his neck trapped underneath himself. I don't think he's being put in that position by a defender.
The defenders are trying to push him back, aren't they?
Morgan, push up, please. Just wait.
Castleford coaching staff, Daryl Powell, Ryan Sheridan. They'll be happy with where their side is at the minute.
Well, they nilled the Giants last time out. The first time the Castleford Tigers had nilled the opposition in an away game for over 2 years, and they're keeping the Saints scoreless in the first half hour here.
Well, most teams can obviously attack. That's what they focus on. You've got to make sure the back end of the year you focus on your defence and get that right.
Oh, they've nearly focused on presenting Reagan Dress with the ball.
You have to admire the fact that they're trying to outplay the Saints, the best team in this competition. They're trying to use the skill and play around them. The referee awards a penalty here.
How many times have Saints give a penalty away and the Saints players are looking at the referee, they're looking at the touch judge, their arms are out wide, they're complaining? 4 penalties now that the Tigers have had to 1. Got to make sure that your discipline's right.
Wait for this foot. Okay.
Well, they can't complain about their share of possession. But can they profit from another penalty? One that's got the backs of the Saints supporters up. McShane still out there despite treatment on the run. Oh, the pass not a good one from Ellis, and Truman did well to gather that.
Good hands that, wasn't it, from the youngster under pressure from the big frame of Jack Ashworth.
Here's Daniel Smith now.
Move back up.
McShane. Here's Ellis once more. McMeekin cutting back infield, shrugs off Roby's challenge, gets the pass away to Peter Matautia. Matautia comes across field. Now he'll try and straighten up, will he? Looking for a gap, but there's Alex Wormsley in the way. That's not a gap. That's a prop forward. Here's McShane. Truman's little kick. Oh, and it's well claimed.
Brilliant, isn't it? I mean, the skill factor tonight's been the highest level here. Tremendous downpour, heavy rain we've had. But Castleford's ability to pass and kick the ball really tested St Helens across the full width of the field.
So here's Zeb Tyre and Lomax, but Lomax slithers. Hull have gone back in front, 12-10. They lead against Huddersfield.
Surrender! Hold.
Here's Grace. Now Percival. Drifting across the field, Percival. Truman tracking him and getting the tackle in. Costello gets the pass away. Richardson on the last, thumps the kick downfield into the arms of Jordan Rankin. Rankin assuming the fullback row. Peter Matautia, who wears one, has been at fullback in the centres. No Michael Shenton.
Good positioning from Jordan Rankin at the back to catch that ball on the full. And try and work the ball upfield, and they're just on halfway. Peter Matautia saw the last time he had the ball how dangerous, how effective he could be in open space.
Some good defence out there from both sides, and it's meant that we've got to the half-hour mark and we still are looking for the first points in this game. Rankin trying to find a way through.
And when defences are good, Bill, you need your teammates to push up really hard with you, give you some support. The tip on there from Dan Smith to Adam Milner. Well, didn't please the coach, did it, Daryl Powell?
Here's Lomax, and again, I wonder if there's going to be a bit of a review of footwear at half-time.
They are slipping, Bill. They are slipping, but it's because they're changing directions. The St Helens players, they're passing the ball, using the ball. It's meant that they've made mistakes. They're completing at 67% as opposed to 79% to Castleford Tigers, who are still using the ball, still passing the ball, but doing it to a greater effect.
Roby, Lomax now. Lomax as they go down that left side to Zeb Tayet and Mark Percival, and Percival is held, says referee James Childs. Saints looking to break the deadlock here. Richardson, Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook to Roby. Castleford keeping their position until Regan Grace goes for the corner and gets in there. His coach applauds a great finish from the Welsh wing wizards, Regan Grace, who gets his 17th try of the season. And finally, the deadlock is broken here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. And the pass is stuck, and Regan Grace footwork did for the Castleford Tigers defence.
Well, it didn't look like it was set up any sort of big play. They come back, they go to the open, they come back to the blind. James Roby does a decent job of getting Jamie Ellis interested. As soon as Jamie Ellis is interested, you can see that the outside man then turns his hips, his shoulders the wrong way, and more or less makes it impossible for him to do anything. And Peter Matautia, as soon as he goes in, it's a 2-on-1.
Well, they've had next to no chances, have they, St Helens? Cast your mind back the first 10 minutes when Greg Minican down on, as we look to our left, that left-hand corner. He had an opportunity to go for the corner, just as Regan Grace did there. He cut back inside. But when you've got pace and agility and evasion like Regan Grace has, and he's got the confidence to go for it, those chances are converted.
And Regan Grace maintaining his scoring form against the Castleford Tigers. He scored against them in the win in March. He scored at Magic, and he scored the first try of this game tonight. And Danny Richardson from the sidelines has missed with the conversion, but Saints are ahead by 4 points to 0.
Well, this club's had some great players from Wales during its history. Players like John Mantle, Kel Coslet, Scott Gibson probably a little more recently. And Regan Grace maintains the tradition of men's coming from Wales and performing well, scoring a fantastic try. He scored some belters this season. That one's added to the list, and it just settles the nerves a little bit of the home supporters.
Try every other game is Regan Grace's record with the St Helens side. That's 48 tries now in 86 appearances. And he makes the most of the opportunities when they come his way.
He'll take anything. He's good. I said before, he's good out of yardage. He's good finishing tries. He's very brave, very elusive.
And he's improved as well. When we saw him, he was raw, a little bit naive, you might say, but he had that pace, he had that speed. But he's a diligent professional, and we could see when he got near that line, the grip he had on that ball meant that he was never going to drop it. He could pull it away from his body and, as we say, score that try.
Walmsley's pass, that was forward, said the referee.
That's called from the sideline by Clint Sharrod. He was right in line with it.
Must have been only just.
Okay, Danny.
It's the line of Alex Walmsley when he passes it. If he continues running forward, it'd be okay. But when he passes it, he veers off and he runs behind the player. When you see half-backs go to the line, we talk about them going, engaging men in front of them, isolating defenders, but playing straight. When you pass the ball, go at the defensive line and play straight. Maybe that give the illusion that it was forward.
Half-time approaching as the Castleford Tigers have head and feed, and Chase Blair bumps off the first challenge. Still waiting for his first try in the Castleford Tigers colours, Chase Blair. And it was Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook with the challenge on Daniel Smith. McShane now. They go to that right-hand side, and Ellis can't take the pass, and anguish on the face of Jamie Ellis. Once a St Helens player, made 3 appearances for the Red V. Not having the best of nights tonight.
Says started his career at the club, would have wanted to have played well here. A couple of mistakes from him. He's tasked with guiding the side around, and you look at him, he's over on the right-hand side. He's got Peter Matalti, he knows the strengths that he's got outside of him. But he's got to make sure that he catches that ball first before he plays it.
There's a knock-on.
Percival.
Oh, he's got away with that, Percival.
Did he lose it?
Yes. Without a doubt.
He did seem to be looking where it was. Well, nobody spotted it.
No, he's a good fibber and all. He just got up and played the ball, didn't he?
Jack Ashworth. Let's have a look.
Move, come on, hold this 10. Wait.
Oh,
there you go.
yes. Just a bit.
Move.
Here's Wormsley playing the ball. Roby. Saints looking maybe for, well, obviously for more points before the half-time hooter sounds, but looking maybe to capitalise on the Castleford Tigers' defence getting a little bit weary. Big effort in the first 36 minutes from Cass in defence. Richardson kicks cross field. Makinson will challenge for it. The ball comes down, and it's Rankin who picks it up.
Well, lucky to get away with that then. Danny Richardson had far too much time to kick that ball into the corner. You've got to make sure that whether it's Johnny Lomax or Danny Richardson, 20 metres for the line, you know that it's going to go up in the air to one of the wingers, whether it be Clure or Minikin.
There's Chase Blair.
Wait.
Now Jesse Senilafeo off the bench. McShane. Truman onto Blair once more, but Blair stopped in his tracks. Good work from Richardson. And Truman has to scramble that kick away, out on the full.
Under some pressure there now, Castleford. Since that try was scored, in pressure from youngster Matty Costello, who just gets into Jake Truman. You can see that Jake Truman, as soon as he kicks that ball, he knows that he hasn't got the right contact on it.
He does a lot of the little things really well, doesn't he, Matty Costello? Good intent there from Castleford in their line speed. They can just see a half-time just over the hill there. They don't want to give St Helens a sniff at the line.
Knowles holding on to that pass, threatening to slip away from him. Roby, 30 metres out, Saints. And Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook has lost the ball, and he's furious with himself.
It's Oliver Holmes again. You could see right from the tap, they were up quick, trying to get good contact. I think it might even be Daniel Smith who gets first contact on the ball, but the pair of them up quick. LMS, as he does with that late footwork, skips across, tries to get through contact for the quick play of the ball.
Get the scrum ready.
The Castleford need to view this as a cup game, not just an ordinary league game. Obviously, if they want to be in the playoffs, they've got to pick up some points. They haven't won here for almost 30 years. They've done remarkably well here, haven't they, to hold the top side. They're only 4 points behind. They just seem to have dropped their heads a little bit here. Maybe it's the energy of level. They need to stay positive now. The next 90 seconds.
Don't give anything away to this Saints side. They will punish if you give them the opportunity. There's the penalty conceded by Costello, and Jesse Senilafeo
Excited.
just emphasises the point.
Well, this is their opportunity. Now they should get excited. They're going to have a minute here to attack. High tackle. holding down. We saw in that first 20 minutes, they did almost get on the outside of St Helens twice, but they were tapping the ball onto the winger.
Half-time at Hull, they lead 12-10 against the Giants. Here is Jesse Senilafeo, fired up after that tackle. Into the final minute of the first 40. And the Castleford Tigers, can they find a way through the Saints' defence? Can they put an attacking set together close to the opposition line? Here's Matautia going for it himself. Nearly lost possession, Peter Matautia. Lomax thought so. McShane gets the pass away. The ball, aimless pass that was. Saints will get it back.
He's in it over the home stop. The ball was going out behind him. All of a sudden he sticks his right arm out. It comes off him. Well, they blew a chance there, haven't they, Cass?
That's been the story of the first half for them, really.
Well, they seem to have had all the field position, Bill, don't they?
Justin Holbrook didn't like that final tackle of the first half on his man, but he'll be happy enough with that half-time scoreline, because up against a really determined Castleford Tigers side who are determined to get back into the top 5, 6 in the table going into this game, really need to upset the form book, turn back the tide of history and win here in St Helens for the first time in a long time, and they've got every chance of doing that. But Saints, trying to banish the Wembley Blues, have produced a battling first half performance, and with Regan Grace with the try, they lead 4-0.
He is. You've just got to do something with it when you get there.
You've got to finish it off. You've got to make sure that you take your chances. You don't get many chances presented at Saints, and Paul McShane, one of the key players, along with Adam Milner, knows that when they get down there, the talk's got to be good, the commitment's got to be good, but led by James Roby, he is really solid in defence near the try line.
I think what Ian Watson did really well last night was just calmed his team down, asked them to be patient. Also, along with that patience, being a little bit more clinical, which both sides could be accused of being guilty of, but be patient, play in the right areas. When the ball and the opportunity presents itself, take it.
Second half underway then at the Totally Wicked Stadium, and Castleford in possession with Mike Meakin. This record of the Tigers having lost on each of their last 24 visits to St Helens really is a millstone around the neck of the Tigers. But tonight's the night, surely, to turn the tide of history, to give themselves a chance of making the top 5.
Well, not only that, what would a win do here at the home of the best team in the competition? It'd be that spark of inspiration at the right time of the year for Castleford, from which they probably grow so much belief and confidence. They think anything was possible. It's a massive 40 minutes for Castleford.
Here is Ellis. Thumps that kick high into the air towards fullback Wellesby. He was pointing towards his own try line despite losing that ball, so didn't knock it on, but then he's driven back. Jesse Senilafeo and Chase Blair with the tackle. And Castleford looking to really pin down Saints at the start of the second half, and the offload.
Risky offload, Bill. Risky offload from one of the most experienced players, Tommy Makinson, who's lining up again here now to take the ball. He knows he made a mistake offloading that ball. That's why he was eager to carry it.
Tommy Makinson, big contribution to the Saints' Wembley effort with 248 metres made, the most by any player on the pitch. Here is Alex Walmsley. Takes some putting down, takes some stopping first. Roby gets it away to Richardson, who thumps the kick down the middle of the field, and it's with James Clare. We're going to go down to the sidelines, get the half-time news from Jenna Brooks.
Thanks, Bill. Both coaches said that they are really tough conditions out there, but Justin Holbrook is happy. He says his players are working really hard. They just need to create more opportunities and try to convert them. Darryl says it's a tough battle out there. He's also happy with his side. He says that they're defending really well. The Castleford coach has just asked for his team to tweak a couple of things, including their kicking game.
Conditions aren't perfect. It has rained on and off all evening. Slippery. Here is Jesse Senilafeo now.
When Daryl Powell talks about the kicking game, he might be talking to Jake Truman. Earlier on in the year, as we see him kicking it high and putting it into space. And he's dropped that as well. He's an excellent kicker of the ball, Jake Truman, as well as that high kick that he's got. When he's on the 20-metre line, what he does is he puts it into the right places for his kick team and kick chase team.
Do you think it's a knock-on, Barry?
Well,
I think we saw in the last one, he was facing his own goal line, wasn't he? He's facing forward, so there's no option but to give it a knock-on.
The first kick, when he positions himself, he gets underneath it, then he turns towards the try line. It hits his fingers, he drops that ball for
it's
me.
one of them where it goes forward and bounces backwards, and then gives the illusion that it's not a knock-on, but the referee's pinged it and casting good field position.
Rankin now, Jordan Rankin. Can the Castleford Tigers profit from that mistake from the young St Helens full-back? Because they're in great position here. Here is McMeekin. That's good work from McCarthy Scarsbrook, his former London colleague. Now then, is Holmes. Truman to Jesse Senilafeo, but Richardson low down with the tackle. Ashworth in to help. Truman. Here is Adam Milner. Milner motoring towards those posts. Ollie Holmes directing operations, but it's McShane pulling the strings. Goes in the opposite direction. Little kick ahead from Truman, and Wellesby into the action again to bundle that ball over the dead ball line.
A good kicker of the ball, isn't he, Jake Truman, like Barry said. It was one of the games early this year. He forced 7 goal line dropouts. So if he can get into that field position, he looks over left-hand side. No, there's nothing on. He'll just drop the ball onto his boot and put that youngster under some pressure.
Jake Truman has contributed the most attacking kicks in Super League. And that's how effective they can be. So goal line dropout. And Richardson will try and get a bit of distance on this. Gets up to the halfway line, into the hands of Jordan Rankin, and Daniel Smith is given the task of running it back, and that was high. Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook holds his hand up.
Yeah, well, he veers away from him, doesn't he, Daniel Smith? He apologises. He gets it wrong. It's a contact sport. He goes away. You can see the swinging arm. First of all, it comes off the ball. Then it hits him high. And the referee not taking any further action, just saying, yeah, it's a penalty. We'll play on here. Cass at 20 metres now from the line.
Well, in the first half, he had a bit of success running at Danny Richardson, isolated him on that side. Wouldn't surprise me if they do try and get at him again. He's perhaps not the strongest defender in that Saints line.
McShane. Truman. On to McMeekin. McMeekin gets the pass away to Ellis. Ellis puts a little kick in, and Grace fields it. Mystifying.
Absolute brain explosion from Jamie Ellis. You get a penalty, you're over on the left, you come over to the right, and you kick the ball through. If you're going to kick it, it's got to be a better kick, but the wrong play. You see, it even comes off his shin.
Well, Jenna saying that Daryl Powell had asked for a better kicking game. That's not what he had in mind.
He did say before the game, though, didn't he? To score against St Helens isn't easy. You have to go up with something special. Kicking early in the tackle count would be one way of doing it. But not on that play here. You can see the penalty. The Saints fans happy. They've heard the referee blow the whistle in their favour.
And I think like penalties like that, that's the knock-on effect from the not getting a good kick away. That's the frustration that gets and sets through the whole side.
LMS has lost the ball. Milner's lost the ball, and I think it'll be head and feed for the Castleford Tigers.
Yeah. Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook makes the mistake. Said before, you've seen a number of players going into contact looking to offload the ball. When he goes in here, he beats him for footwork. He's low to the ground. LMS, he's trying to give it his full back in Jack Wellesby. Look, he's pushing up. That again is not on. Try and get down, try and get that quick play of the ball. Give Paul Rowley something to play off.
He's a vastly experienced player, is LMS, and what he will do is he won't shy away, won't recoil that right arm, that trusty right arm of his, and pull it back in. What he'll try and do is undo the bad work with a great offload. Unfortunately, he's doubled up on his errors. Castleford have got possession back, and it feels to me like the team that settles down focuses on the fundamentals of the game, getting to the kick, pressurising your opponents, will probably come out on the best side. I admit that throwing the ball and maybe trying to do something a little bit different might create those chances, but you've got to earn that, I think.
So just the one try so far in this game, scored by Regan Grace. And now Castleford looking to respond. Minikin making it only his 4th appearance on the wing this season, Greg Minikin. Truman puts a kick in, that's a better one, but it's well swept up. Zeptea across to gather the ball. Rankin was chasing.
Yeah, he had Rankin and Daniel Smith, didn't he? Good kick, goes at the line, just dabs it through the line. The Saints come up with it, they look to shift the ball here to Johnny Lomax.
What about that for a pass? 15 metres away from your own line. It's a 15-metre pass right on the button from Robert.
Percival running into a big challenge from Oliver Holmes, and Daniel Smith was up top.
He's been really good in this game, hasn't he, Oliver Holmes?
Surrender 5!
Look at this. Not many people do that to Mark Percival.
Richardson pummels a kick down the middle of the field.
That's a better kick.
Over the head of James Clare.
That is a better kick in these conditions. Kick long, kick hard. Obviously keep it on the island so your kick chase team has a chance to pressurise the opposite player when he's coming away.
You say these conditions, it's not as though it's hammering it down, Barry.
No, but
in the middle of a monsoon.
There will still be dew on the pitch, it'll still be greasy. We've seen players slip, the ball will be greasy, and when you hit and you hit hard and you target the ball, it spews out like a bar of soap.
Poor weather for Barry, he's been abroad for the last couple of weeks.
We're only jealous. They all live skin.
Oliver Holmes up to the halfway line for the Castleford Tigers. Milner, strong run up the middle. Joseph Polo with the tackle. Milner wrestling to get to his feet and didn't like the attention he got. Ellis fires another kick up high. This time Jack Wellesby is equal to the challenge. Just 18 years of age, Jack Wellesby. He stood up well when he's been asked to fill in at the back for the Saints.
Yeah, and well done that youngster. He knew that he was going to be targeted. He come up with the play. Costello now tries to bring the ball away in those yardage, those hard yardage plays. When you can sense that your opponent to get off line, there's a mistake here. Matty Costello, as he's getting up to play the ball quickly.
Was it 18 mistakes they made in the cup final?
Not complain. I mean, they're ahead in the penalty count. Saints are coming up with the errors.
What do you reckon the message will be from Darryl Powell? Let's not kick on the first play if the ball goes to Jamie Ellis. Well, you can see as he's putting the ball down, he fumbles it, puts it down on the foot of a defender.
I'm going to say it again, 18 mistakes they made in the cup final of St Helens. That piled the pressure on them. It meant they had to do too much defending. Warrington white hot on the day, and Justin Holbrook and his side don't have to do anything extravagant, nothing special.
So they're giving themselves some extra work to do in defence here are the Saints after another error. Jesse Senilafeo, that's a good tackle from Paulo. Stopped Jesse Senilafeo in his tracks. Truman onto Ellis. Ellis's pass stretching out was Peter Matautia. More good defence. Percival it was, and Lomax assisting. Here's Mike McMeekin now. McMeekin winds up for a charge, but Zeptea and LMS with the tackle. Roby in, of course. McShane might fancy it himself. Puts a little kick in. Ellis chasing it, and it sits up in the end for Jack Wellesby.
Well, there was all kinds of ricochets in the in-goal area. Was there a knock-on?
No try. Checking for a knock-on. Please.
Was there a knock-on?
Stuart, what's it?
Well, we've got the ball bouncing all over the place. St Helens players cannot be offside in the in-goal area, which I think caused some of the Castleford players to stop. I think we know it's not a try. I think James Charles just wants to find out the restart.
on this. I think you see a knock on there by Castleford, so I think they'll just stop it there and go with a 20-metre restart, I think.
Well, Jamie Ellis is the man Stuart's talking about, the number 20. He does make contact with it. So does Johnny Lomax. But I do feel there is a knock-on from Jamie Ellis.
Well, I think the video referee is moving on from that, so I think he's ruled that he hasn't played it. So we're still going on.
It goes back from Lomax. The question is, does it go back from Percival before Wellesby gets hold of it?
It does look like he touches it from that angle.
So the video record, he just checking restarts. Is that what we're doing there?
Looking for a restart here.
So that's four looks out to restart.
Yes.
And none of them are conclusive, are they?
No, I think he's going the 20-metre restart now. He's gone back to that angle.
Chris Kendall is the video ref tonight. Has had a good look at that, and no try. It was never an issue. It was just how it's restarted, and it's 20-metre restart.
Just wait, James, on me there. Just wait.
Jamie Ellis, the man who the video referee Chris Kendall says touching the ball, and well, Darryl Powell knows that they've had plenty of chances, they've had plenty of ball near Saints' line, but they can't crack it.
If Darryl Powell looks a little bit stressed, I know this is a stressful situation he's in, but he's got a massive weekend. There's a wedding going on at home, so Mr. and Mrs. Powell under all kinds of pressure. And good luck to young Miss Powell over the weekend.
Immediate thoughts, though, are on this game tonight, and a vital one it is for his side, and they've conceded the penalty.
Well, Liam Watts back onto the field now to give his impact. I'm not so sure that the sort of impact that the coach would want from Paul McShane and Jesse Seni-Lefeo. Paul McShane around the neck of Paulo.
So the Castleford Tigers unable to make it tell when they had that possession on the Saints line, and once again the Saints come forward.
Move, come on, Ollie.
Zeb Tyre. It's Joseph Paulo who's the man tackled. Is Luke Thompson now.
Move, come on, Jordan.
Roby, Paulo sells the dummy, and it was a good job that Ollie Holmes didn't fall for it.
He almost stole the ball as well, Ollie Holmes.
Roby gets the pass away to Richardson, and Richardson very nearly escaped the clutches of Jake Truman. They're not out of the woods yet, the Castleford Tigers, because Lomax will put a kick in, but it's not the best, and it's easily swept up by Peter Matautia.
Well, Bill, I reckon there's a couple of tackles that have kept them in the game. The Jake Truman one and the Oliver Holmes one in that last set of 6. Saints were knocking on the door, they were about to kick the door in, but those two plays certainly kept this game alive.
I think the longer the game goes like this, the more pressure it becomes on the Saints side, really, because they know nervously one try and a good goal kick, and they'll be suffering a second defeat, really a shock one at that.
4-0, St Helens lead, and Jesse Seni-Lefeo on the charge, gets the pass away, but Saints doing what they need to do defensively, and Minikin can't make any ground there. That's the 5th tackle, and that's the first time tonight we've heard the Saints crowd find their voice, and Wellesby did well to claim that ball.
Well, Casper were playing for a penalty, then one of the Cast players who was chasing the kick, running to the back of Danny Richardson, hoping that the referee would say it's an obstruction, and Paul McShane is the man who was impeded. The line was changed from Richardson.
Here is Luke Thompson trying to inject a little bit of vigour into the Saints attack. Roby, quick hands, but again the pass goes astray. And now then maybe Castleford will counter. No, they can't, because the referee has brought them back for the first knock-on, which was by the Saints, head and feet to the Castleford Tigers. This is not one for the newcomer to the game. I must say, well done to an acquaintance of mine who has driven 7 hours from the far north of Scotland, through the Scottish Highlands, to be here tonight.
Well, if
and
he's a
is struggling to stay awake at half-time.
If he's a neutral fan, he might get, though, very excited.
He's not a neutral fan. His heart's very much with Saints.
Nice and close, mate. On your loose.
Well, he might get
I'm not sure where his head is at the moment after 7 hours on the road.
They're not making it easy for him, are they?
Here's Chase Blair. So then, another Saints error. They've come up with more tonight maybe than we've seen for many a game.
And they're the sort of runs that's needed from both sides laying that platform.
Daniel Smith, as Castleford Tigers creep towards those Saints posts. Can they find a way through? Jesse Senni Lafayette takes the pass, but Richardson gets a grip of an ankle. Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook assisting. But the Castleford Tigers attack is static there. Daniel Smith going forward. Richardson again involved. McShane down the short side. He puts the kick in, and it's straight into the arms of Percival.
Well, Jake Truman setting up for that. He wanted the ball off Paul McShane. The amount of times that Saints, when the ball shifted, they're jamming in on the edge. They're looking for that man out the back, that block play, where the half-back goes at the line, hits someone at the back. There's a penalty here now.
Well done to Jack Wellesley. That's a tough support play there. You need your own line. If you get it, you are under pressure as soon as you catch it. And with good footwork, he beats Jake Truman, and he just catches an arm of Liam Watts. But he supported the ball carrier. Brave support there from the young fullback.
So that's a welcome penalty that relieves some of the pressure for the moment on the Saints line. Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook. Thompson now. And 35 metres away from that Castleford Tigers line, Joseph Parlow. And it's Bentley who's on the field, wrestling to get to his feet. Lomax back on the inside, but Wellesby, Millington was there to meet him. Lomax once more, but again, good work. McShane really is pushing his luck there. Roby will have a little run, put a little kick in, and it's still with the Saints. Still on the last, says the referee. Percival trying to find a way through. Gets the pass away, and Millington eventually sweeps it up.
Well, good reaction from Grant Millington. He was putting pressure on in defence on 2 or 3 players in that set of 6. He's the first to react, to get down on the floor as well, to just clean things up for Cass.
It's a gritty performance, this, isn't it, from Cass? Nowhere near perfect in attack, but what they are doing in defence is turning up. There's a lot of desperation in the Castleford Tigers ranks. You can see they want to win this. They can see they're aware of the importance on the season that this fixture has.
Here's McMeekin, but there's equal desperation in the Saints defence as well.
Well, there has to be, didn't there? The number of times they've allowed Castleford to attack. You've got to really compliment. We've said all season how great St Helens are at scoring tries. The defence tonight has been equally as impressive as their attack throughout 2019. They'll have to do a little bit more here now for 21 minutes if they want to win, because the Tigers are coming.
No change between Hull FC and Huddersfield. Still 12-10. They're into the second half there, of course. So the Giants very much in contention. Wow, if they were to pick up a win in that game, that would be a big bonus for them as they try and get away from the foot of the table. Catalan against Hull Kingston Rovers coming up. Tom Sky tomorrow. That's 6 to go. No,
can't give it.
How can it go that far back and not be touched?
Certainly, there you go. Hull KR in Perpignan for that one. 4:55 tomorrow on Sky Sports Arena. Massey, Ellis, McMeekin. That's the 5th tackle. And Ellis, can he get a kick in this time? Well, it ricochets and again comes up for Saints.
Dangerous play that if you're a defender. It's James Roby who sticks his foot out. Goes into the path then of Zeb Taylor.
They managed to get up with it. And again, the youngster Jack Welsby, there on hand to cart the ball up first up.
This is a who wants it most game, isn't it?
Come on, Jess.
There's not much between the two sides. There's 4 points on the scoreboard, but it's about outlasting your opponent, staying stood up, making sure you go toe-to-toe and you don't give in.
Well, Saints have got this 100% home record in Super League to maintain. If nothing else, they've got a bit of pride to restore after Wembley. Makinson gets the pass away to Grace. The two wingers combining, and then Makinson is in there again, and then it's Lomax who puts the kick in. But it's straight into the arms of Minikin. And Minikin hounded down by LMS among others. Polo in there.
That's a good chase from Saints, that when Minikin gets that ball, he's looking to do what Tommy Makinson does and go across the line, get outside of the defensive wall, but he just can't do that.
Stand.
So Rankin. Castleford Tigers enjoying,
Come on, Zed.
from the look of things, the bulk of possession in this second half. Here is Ellis. Ellis. Little dummy from him. First time we've seen that tonight. Watts. McShane can't take the pass, and it's picked up, and Daryl Powell holds head in hands.
Well, both sides are inviting the other side into the game, aren't they?
So you do that against Saints, you're going to ultimately pay.
Yeah, well, you'd always know that there's going to be some sort of big play from, whether it be one of the stars, the likes of Roby, Mark Percival, LMS with that play on Paul McShane where he forces the mistake. The efforts every time that this man carries the ball, looking to win collision, looking to get over the tops of the likes of Massey and Liam Watts.
Here's James Bentley, the former Bradford Bull. Missed out on the Wembley experience. Back in the side tonight. Richardson hoists that kick into the corner. And the ball is claimed by Percival and then sits up for Rankin. And Rankin will try and counter now.
I think we're in for an exciting finish here, I really do. Both teams are looking for that knockout punch.
Well, it has been a big effort in terms of defensive commitment, physically draining. Matautia's pass looked to have drifted forward to James Clare. Certainly seemed to be the case as far as Saints supporters were concerned, but play continues. Here's Ellis. Here is Millington. Across the field they go. And Truman avoiding giving away the penalty. Here's Massey now. And Saints heading back towards their own try line as the Tigers advance with Truman. Rankin quickly closed down by Matty Costello. Good work from the 21-year-old centre. McShane trying to urge the team on, galvanise something. He instructs Truman to hoist the ball to that wing where Clare climbs for it. Looking to get a basketball pass the way he does, but only as far as Lomax.
Why would you not, if you're Castleford, if Matty Costello's come up with a great read and jammed in, why would you not go back to that side and attack them? I think sometimes they're taking the wrong players. They've just not got it right tonight, Cass.
Roby, a good run from him, nearing 500 career appearances, James Roby. He's been well used in terms of his appearances, just given a rest here and there by Justin Holbrook as James Roby get more out of him this season. And of course, with, they hope, a grand final appearance to come. The kick is hoisted. Minikin lets it bounce. Rankin picks up.
He had to make that tackle, didn't it? He chased hard on the right-hand side to LMS. Just lunged and dived at Jordan Rankin.
Chase Blair gets the pass away to Greg Minikin. Oh, look at that. Huddersfield Giants are ahead at Hull FC 16-12. Lewis Senior has got that try to put the Giants in front into the final quarter of that game as well. Big effort, and Hull hitting a wobble. Rankin. Lomax with a fine tackle. Rankin felt that because he had Zebtea up top. Ellis. Bentley didn't fall for that. Little kick ahead from Truman. Truman chases his own kick. Across comes Jack Welsby. And Truman is there and he gets the plaudits from his coach. Super League's reigning young player.
Another great chance for him here now to really put themselves in a position here. It's where I do think that the Tigers have missed Junior Moore. One of my favourite players in the Super League, unable to play here, out injured for the Tigers, but they sort of need his power, I think, near the line here to find a way over. He's not going to play. Somebody else has to make a headline here. Provide all of the Castleford supporters who've travelled here tonight with a memory that it was worth coming, worth making the effort to see history. The side win here for the first time in, is it almost 27 years?
That's it. And they have it within their grasp. They are only 4-0 down. They're up against a Saints side that really has put in a big shift tonight because they've gone through a heavy week in terms of emotion with the disappointment of Wembley. Not long in terms of a turnaround, but they've put their shoulders into a big defensive effort. Here is Massey. Walmsley eventually gets him to ground. McShane. Millington. Watts now. Watts gets the pass away. And it comes up for Saints. It looks as though it was in Ellis's hands for a moment there, but somehow it escaped his clutches and Lomax came up with it. The players down all over the place.
His body's all over, isn't it? Liam Watts, who tried to find that pass to his supporting player, struggling with that hip injury. Oh, it's almost there, isn't it? And Johnny Lomax, well, he steals the ball away from the grasp and grip of the supporting player. Jamie Ellis is making himself available. He's a busy player, passing, supporting, a couple of kicks as well. It means something to Jamie Ellis. It means something to everybody on the field, but being a local lad coming back to the side that let him go, he'll have extra motivation. What's the energy like of St Helens now? What's the determination of this Saints side like? You don't want to go to pick up that leader's shield on the back of a loss. That will be in the mind and the front of the mind of these Saints players now.
Yeah, that's coming up after this game. Walmsley has lost the ball.
There's been a number of errors on there for Saints. They've not been clinical. I already talked before about mistakes that were made in the cup final. We would have wanted to eradicate those mistakes, respect the ball a bit more, not come up with the same sort of number like they did last week, which was 18.
Stuart, surely there's a hand in there?
There is a hand in there. Paul McShane goes back on the ball, hasn't been spotted.
Okay, let's get ready. Heads in.
Another opportunity then for the Castleford Tigers as they get head and feet at that scrum. A bit of nefarious nurdling from Paul McShane. The dark arts.
Nurdling.
Here is Liam Watts.
Good word, that. I'll have to learn what that is.
McShane once more. That looks forward from Truman to Jesse Sanilafeo, but play continues with Chase Blair. What he would give for scoring his first try in a game like this.
Chase Blair.
There's a player down.
Is it Matty Costello?
I think it is Costello, yeah.
Give some credit as well to Tommy Makinson then. I don't know whether Matty Costello was down then, but he recognised that there was a problem on the inside. He just backs off. Costello is hit. He's hit by Morgan Knowles, his own teammate. Look at this now, he comes in, smashes him. He's not expecting it. The only thing that he's trying to deal with is Blur that's in front of him.
More Super League action coming up next week. Thursday, 7 o'clock, we'll see the Castleford Tigers again on Arena when they take on Hull FC. And Friday, we are in Hull Kingston Rovers against the London Broncos. That's a crucial game from the bottom of the table next Friday, 7 o'clock on Arena. And here is Millington. Can the Castleford Tigers find a way through? Chase Blair. Blair still on his feet. Nonchalantly lobs the ball out wide to Minikin. Minikin cutting back infield. What desperate defence from the Saints.
What did he pass that ball from? Was there any defender in front of him then?
Opportunity here for Jesse Senilafeo. The ball is bobbed on and it's into the hands of Tommy Makinson, and St Helens survive again, and Watts comes powering in to make the tackle on Costello.
Wow, maybe Blur another opportunity here. Blur, when he has the ball in his hands, I think it seems to open up for him. Look, just run the ball. Just run the ball, don't give it a Hail Mary pass to your outside man.
Roby, Lomax, and Huddersfield Giants have got 2 tries in 7 minutes, and they lead 22-12 at Hull FC. The Giants on course for what would be a really vital victory. Beaten last time out by the Castleford Tigers, nilled last time out. The Giants were 24-0 at the John Smith Stadium, a result that seemed to really suggest they were heading for the Super League exit, but they've come back tonight. And could Castleford come back? Minikin's pass finds Truman, and the referee brings it back for a forward pass. There are 3 players on their knees around the pitch, and Minikin is distraught.
Oh, bit of space, bit of speed, and Greg Minikin just puts on the afterburners as it seems to open up for him. His teammate reacts to that. Truman. Oh. Wow. Look at this, look how quick he is. Alex Walmsley gets rid of him, draws the youngster. Well, I think that ball is okay for me.
James Clare had a great view of it.
Well, James Child had a good view too.
Child had a good view of it. James Clare wasn't anywhere near it, actually.
Can't let the heads drop. All that's going to do is make a win feel even more special if they can get it at the end. All of the chances, all of the decisions that they feel may have gone against them, they've got to maintain a belief. Don't let the heads drop.
They've got under 10 minutes now. Percival. Saints with that Regan Grace try in the first half, clinging on to the lead here. They have been on the ropes. Walmsley gets to scruffy play the ball away. Here's Bentley. Bentley's pass and Thompson can't take it.
They're forcing it, they're panicking. Again, I think it was Baz before who said about as the more this game goes on, will they start panicking? Will they start forcing the ball?
I do think that pass is on. I think that pass is on. His arms are out wide. Luke Thompson, great runner of the rugby league ball. Justin Holbrook puts a lot of faith in his front row to create that platform. But I thought James Bentley was entitled to pass that ball, whether it was a clean pass or not. It ends up ricocheting off Thompson, and it might come down to one flash, one door opening ever so slightly to who takes the 2 points.
Can the Castleford Tigers become the first side this season to win here at Saints' home ground? No other side has managed that. And they have got a big opportunity. Here is James Clare.
Back up. Wait, Alex.
Just inside Saints territory. McMeekin's pass to Ellis, but Ellis wrapped up by Percival.
Risky pass to Ellis. Here's young Jax O'Neill.
Jax O'Neill off the bench. 20 years of age, and Jake Truman puts a decent kick in. Wellesby hesitant. Senilafeo bats it down to McMeekin. He was looking up to see what was ahead of him before the ball was in his grasp.
And if he gets that ball and he passes it out, he tips it on outside of him, it's a 2-on-1 for Castleford.
They've had some chances, haven't they?
Yeah, they certainly have it. The ball's hit back by Jesse Senilafeo. He takes this. You can see the Regan Grace. He's in field. There's Mark Percival on his own, opposite 2 Cas players.
Percival looking for a penalty. Nothing coming from the referee. And Makinson.
They're frustrated here. Every time that they can have a word with the referee, they will.
And they get the penalty.
And that one was a penalty, Bill. The effort on Alex Walmsley. Look, he gets through the line. He finds his front. Defenders all over. But the youngster, O'Neill, just hangs on to him. That is a fair penalty. The other two weren't.
Now then, can Saints polish this one off? Kyle Amor. Like Jax O'Neill, a proud Cumbrian. Amor charging that ball forward. Here's Zebtea now, and it's the Castleford Tigers' turn to man the barricades. And it's the big guns firing, and they don't come much bigger than Alex Walmsley, but he can't get that ball.
Held him up. Tremendous defence from Castleford Tigers. Alex Walmsley from a long way back carries 3-4 defenders over the line, but Nathan Massey and the fullback Jordan Rankin do not allow him to put that ball down.
A smile on the face of Alex Walmsley. They're down the right end of the field though, are Saints. Now then, here's young Wellesby, the fullback, and Wellesby standing, inching his way towards the line and over it. Has he got it down? No.
There's an obstruction before that.
He's had some calls to make, hasn't he? I'm not sure he's got them all right. I know Phil talked about Castleford not letting their heads drop. Yeah, you can see. He's in the way there, Morgan Knowles. Doesn't keep going, doesn't get out of the way. Talked about both teams being under pressure. I think James Child's been under pressure as well.
Yeah, it's a difficult sort of game to referee.
Oh, he's done well with it though.
Here they come then, the Castleford Tigers, into the last 5 minutes, desperately looking to find a way through this valiant Saints defence. It won't come like that, with passes going astray and Chase Blair having to retreat to gather the ball. They haven't helped themselves at times, the Tigers.
Both sides, you can see how desperate they are.
Here's Minikin. Not the biggest of players, Greg Minikin, but found a way to get some valuable yards there. On the last, the kick is hoisted high towards Jack Wellesby once again, and he holds his nerve, holds the ball, and then brings it back bravely.
He's done well, him. He's done well under the high ball, supporting players. A couple of times defensively as well. That backfield, that back three, so reliable for Saints. It doesn't matter who wears the jerseys. This evening it's been Wellesby, Makinson, Regan Grace getting in, looking for the hard work. This game might just well be won at 4-0.
Makinson locks the ball away to Bentley, and Bentley over the halfway line for the Saints. Gets the penalty. 21 years of age, knew exactly what he was doing there.
Interference all the way.
Yeah, well, interference, took it in. Bentley again wins collision. It's the second time that they've got through the line. They're trying to slow them down. Strong carries. The first one was Alex Walmsley. Then it's Bentley. And Saints now, there's no point going for 2 points. They'll keep hold of this.
I thought for a second they were having a discussion about going for 2. You're right. Not much of an advantage. Keep hold of possession. Knock out this set of 6. Give the ball to your opponent. Right on their try line and see what Castleford Tigers have got in their locker.
So Saints, can they close this game out? Zebtea, strong run from him. Zebtea still going, closer and closer to those posts, towards those packed Saints fans. Lomax, little step, Lomax will settle it. No try, the referee has brought them back. Another disruption.
It's that man, isn't it, Luke Thompson, when the acting half stands up, James Roby has a short option. He then passes the ball out the back. And you can see St Helens remonstrating with the referee. Alex Walmsley on that occasion. Look at Thompson. He's in the defensive line. Well, it's been given.
Stewart.
Well, he's gone through the defensive line, and that's what James Child has seen. You know, I suppose he would have the use of the video referee if he wanted to put it up there. But he's made a decision on the field.
So Saints denied, which has infuriated their coach Justin Holbrook, it's fair to say. McMeekin lobs a ball to Metaltia. Metaltia knocks it on. And that's probably it for the Castleford Tigers and their hopes of getting a vital win here tonight.
Well, it was either to Metaltia or the physio, Matt Crowell, that the ball just wasn't on, was it, for them? Yeah, they are running out of time, yeah.
I don't think he can do anything else there, Luke Thompson. I really don't. I think that's a legitimate try. It looks, with what, just over a minute left here, it might not matter.
What a win for the Huddersfield Giants, 22-12. They have won at Hull FC. Back-to-back defeats for Hull, who were, of course, looking... Well, at one point, they were looking for second place in the table. I mean, their top 5 place could be under threat, couldn't it?
Incredible, and if Cass would have heard that result, I'm sure that they would have pushed the pedal down, and here we go. Are we on for a big finish?
Oh, the referee is going to bring it back for the first knock-on.
Well, Cass get ahead and feed here. Look, they need to pack the scrum. Probably have about 2 players here.
Oh,
Bill.
Silly for the Saints. It was up the jumper time here. They've lost possession. It's patted out there. Not got protection of it. Not sure where the knock-on are, but anyway, who cares now? Accept the referee's decision. Let's play on. We've got less than half a minute to remain.
Saints fans keeping an eye on that clock. Last throw of the dice for the Castleford Tigers, and Chase Blair going nowhere. Roby and Thompson with the tackle. This is the last play. McMeekin has got to come up with something special. He can't. He's tackled. A shake of the head. A rueful shake of the head from Darryl Powell. Unbelievable from Justin Holbrook. I think that's his reaction. How that Lomax try didn't seal matters. But their 100% home record survives. Their defensive effort has been superb. Castleford Tigers threw everything at them, often at the invitation of their hosts.
Well, they certainly had the chances, didn't they? And look, some of these Saints players are out on their feet. What they've had to go through this week. They knew that Castleford, well rested, were going to turn up for this game, and Darryl Powell, Ryan Sheridan, the coaching staff at Castleford, thought that they had the right game plan to beat the Saints. They certainly had their opportunities. It didn't come off for them. They looked determined, but just at the times when they needed to make that play, they needed to make it. Unfortunately, too many errors in vital areas. But the Saints side, well, they are quality. They are lacking some of their stars. But some of the big players, well, who've been given the chance to do longer minutes, have certainly done that. They've led by example. And it's been a tough old contest, but, wow, really impressed with Cass.
But as you say, when they come off this field and find that Huddersfield have won at Hull FC, that's probably just going to rub salt in the wounds. But for